Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Kooplings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack. My name is Donnie Reese, and you are tuning in to Nintendo Shack 145, titled Pikmin Returns. We've got the full crew back together as Garrett rejoins us from his ventures out into the dark, cold world.
Yes.
Did you get your COVID test?
No, I didn't. I didn't. Should I? Should I really do a test?
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's lots of rumors.
How many people were you?
It's just in the air. Did you touch a surface?
I think I sat down once or twice.
Did you touch a public doorknob?
Wash your hands.
Define public.
What were you doing?
Anywhere that people touch.
No restaurants. No parties.
That's
Don't
good.
worry about that. Yep.
Before we get into the show, we'd like to thank everybody that supports us over at patreon.com/PSVG. For just $3, you can have access to our DLC feed of PSVG bonus content. That includes our monthly DLC episode. That includes Bored with Everything. That includes Strong Style and Dollar Cinema. Oftentimes that DLC, 2-3 chapters long. We just did 3 hours of me sitting down with Jason Fluxay Lacey, talking about Fluxapose and his upbringing and all that good stuff. So
it was so good.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been the outpouring has been abundantly positive. Everybody really, really enjoyed this DLC this month. So if you guys haven't given us a chance over there, maybe think about it. It's just $3. And like I said, I often tell everybody you're kind of missing half of the PSVG master feed if you're not over there, because we often put lots of stuff up there. I think at least 4, if not 6 or 7 bonus podcasts a month over there. So thank you, Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Borboni, Chris McElfresh, Devin Tyus, Kyle Heyman, Michael Masick, The Egg Shin, Zach Bradshaw, Nick Fallhaber, and Paul Calicote. I honestly, because of that CSS thing I was telling you that I put on my browser, my document is all black and the letters are really white. And I honestly almost read it as Michael Masick, The Egg Shin. And I was like, wait, that's not right.
Wait, what?
So, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Nintendo's making bank, and the Pikmin has returned or shown back up. We've seen Pikmin again. But before we get into all that, let's break down what you've been up to. And I'll start, guys. I kept trying to play Paper Mario. The reason I'm gonna start is because I'm gonna be real quick this week. And I got through the Ice Velumento, whatever it is, the streamer, and yeah, I went up into some clouds and I found another streamer to do, and I was like, I'm done. Like I've had this game. My Switch says I've played this game for 25 plus hours, and it's just like I don't know how much further I've got to go. I don't want to go any further, so I just stopped and I started playing Ghost of Tsushima. After I spent an entire weekend playing Grounded on Xbox. Grounded's amazing. It's so super fun, and I had a few people ask me on Twitter like, "Hey, did you finish it?" And I was like, "No, I don't think I'm going to." And Chalfie reaches out to me and he's like, well, did you make it this far? And I was like, no, I got to here. And he was like, you probably have another 4 or 5 hours. And I was like, that's too many. It's
if you're finding it to be a chore to play it at this point.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you were asking to give your opinion on a game, if you really enjoyed it for like the first 15 hours, but then the last 10, like you were just kind of over it, like, would you knock the game for that, or is that more of like a personal issue?
No, because that means it overstayed its welcome. It's too long of a game.
It drags on. Yeah,
I kind of agree. I think it's too long. Paper Mario is too long. I was really enjoying it for the first 10. I was in it for the up to like the 20. Over the 20-hour mark, it's like, okay, I get it, Mario. Like your paper, there's paper jokes, there's puns, and you spin this circle around. That's a valid criticism
if it's overly repetitive to the point where you aren't enjoying it anymore.
Yeah, I definitely needed to take a break. And I didn't get back to Catherine because Jack has taken upon himself to replay Let's Go. And Let's Go is on my Nintendo Switch, my Lite. So he's been playing on that machine. So I haven't had my Switch. My daughter's playing Animal Crossing. So worked out for me. I started playing some other stuff, so that's it for me on This Week in Nintendo. What about you, Garrett? You're back in town. What have you been up to? Did you beat Zelda yet?
No, so this is what I decided to do, Donnie. I hear you joke around in the other podcasts.
Joke around. It's 8.
yeah.
You've been doing this for 2 months.
Don't rush him.
I'm taking my time. Okay, out of spite, what I'm doing is he's just cracking out now.
That's a great way to start a point. Out of spite.
I'm beating one temple a week. And,
Nice.
yeah.
That's okay.
And I'm gonna describe it like what my adventures are in that temple for you. And I think that's a pretty good idea with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I want to go through Majora's Mask as well since I have that on 3DS. I know you don't like it, but I love.
And I gotta listen to it.
I love
you gotta
Majora's
listen to
Mask.
it.
You can talk about that game all you want, Garrett.
Sounds good.
I'm here for it.
Okay, so Ocarina of Time. I beat the Water Temple last
Nice.
week. It was the early part of the
We
week.
gotta hear your thoughts about, is it the hardest thing ever? Did you find it to be super
Zelda
tedious
fans, yeah,
annoying?
and the lore of
Water
Zelda,
Temple's the big
the
thing
Water
you gotta talk
Temple is
about.
infamous. People hate this thing.
I understand it could be a little hated on because there's some aspects of it where I had to literally use the song to go to the beginning of the temple again to reset all the water levels. I think that was my biggest gripe with it. Other than that, I think it was one of the best dungeons I've played in Ocarina of Time, just because how well connected this dungeon is between each of the rooms. It's not just like you go into one room, you got to solve the puzzle. Okay, you go to the next room. You really got to think on your toes. Like
That is the correct answer.
Yeah,
Water Temple
literally.
is awesome. It's like a Rubik's Cube.
Exactly.
Because the floors do interact with each other, and if anything, kind of reminds me a lot of the shrines, dungeons, beasts that you find in Breath of the Wild. A lot of those environmental factors affect future rooms. How you shift and everything dictates what you find on the upcoming level. So,
Yeah, I think the mid boss is the best mid boss I played.
Shadow Link. Did you know that? Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I didn't know it was Shadow Link, if that's what you were wondering. But I went into that room. It was just foggy, and like there was just a tree in the middle, and I'm like, what is this room? And then I go all the way to the end, and there was just nothing. It was just like a wall or something like that. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll turn around then. I turn around, and then he just like appears like in the mist, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. Like it's showing like a shadow form of yourself just in this like atmosphere of this room. I'm like, you could do this in a Nintendo 64 game? That's pretty cool. So I really enjoyed it.
What I was going to say is, did you know that he'll have the same amount of health as you have hearts? So he's an exact mirror of you. If you're really, really strong at that point, he'll be really, really strong.
I didn't realize that. I think what I've done with him is just I spammed the hammer and he was pretty much gone after like a few seconds. I don't have that much hearts, to be honest with you. I didn't like try to search out all the hidden heart pieces around the world. I'm kind of just mainlining the dungeons right now, so it didn't seem that powerful. Only have one row of the hearts. I think that's like maybe 12 or 13 or whatever. But yeah, I love the mid boss of that game. The end boss, it's okay. It's not like my favorite one, I think, just because I didn't know if I was hurting it. It's the weird little, I don't know, it's like a bacteria, whatever you call it, amoeba. Yeah. That's what it's called. I didn't know if I was hurting it or not. So I was hook shotting it for the longest time and like hitting it with a sword. And I'm like, am I doing anything right? And then once he changed his attack pattern, I'm like, okay, at least I'm doing something. So I'm just going to keep at
for whatever reason,
I
was thinking a boomerang, but I guess maybe that's not it. Do you hook shot it and then pull it out and then you hit it before the amoeba pulls it back together?
That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
You have to pull it out of the water.
Yeah, you were doing okay.
Okay, cool. So I am in the Shadow Temple right now. I already told Rebecca I am stuck in a room.
It's a hard. I think that's a hard temple.
That's the one that I always bring up to people to complain about the Water Temples. I had way more issues with the Shadow Temple than that one.
It's not. I think it's less linear than a lot of the other dungeons.
Of course,
for sure. Like the first part of it was pretty short, very confined walls and everything. It seemed pretty straightforward there. And then I got into this massive room. I got the fly boots. And then I got to a point where there was a room that had a hidden, like, I didn't know I had to do this, but the sign said, like, the Eye of Truth will tell you where the stone umbrella is, whatever to like protect the bridge, like the blades. And I'm like, what the heck?
Wait, you
Whatever.
have it yet? Did you get it? The Lens of Truth?
I didn't get this Eye of Truth.
Oh, you gotta go back.
That's the problem. You got to go back.
Oh,
Yeah, you're not ready for this temple.
Oh,
The Eye of Truth lets you
this-
see things that you can't see otherwise.
That's what.
That's the
they
whole
were
gimmick of
talking
the
about.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's you know how you had to go to the ice dungeon to get the iron boots? There was like a mini dungeon. There's another mini dungeon you have to do before Shadow Temple.
Okay, so and it's still in the graveyard cemetery area though, right? Right? No. Am I totally off? Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up. We'll continue this conversation.
Oh, you're
later.
going to look it up. Wow.
No, you're not gonna look it up. We're gonna nudge you in the right direction later.
Now, the Shadow
Sounds
Temple's
good.
boss, awesome.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
You've probably seen this one before.
Okay, sounds good. Other than that, Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm back at it. I'm playing the Future Connected DLC. That's the set piece that's right after the main story. I'm having a great time with it so far. But like, I don't know. It's just more Xenoblade to me. It is set right after the main story, and it's about the capital Alchemoth, where Melia goes back to the capital and tries to reclaim it, but there's a certain evil there. There's like this thing called the fog monster, and there's like a rift that's inside this in Alchemoth that kind of like it can control other monsters too. It's like very dark spirit energy, very mysterious. We don't know what the villain is or what they want to do or anything like that. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. It has new mechanics. It actually stripped off some mechanics too. So in the main game, there's these attributes or whatever that you connect skills between like your characters together, which I thought was like really random because they just give you extra bonuses or whatever. They stripped that off. And now they got this. They got these things called pawn specters, where there's several pawns. These pawns are these little fur balls that you see in the game, and you basically have to collect them all. And they actually follow with you, and they give you an amazing amount of buffs and attacks and strengths. And they're so cute and adorable. It's just kind of funny that you're kind of running around, and then you just see a trail of pawns just behind you, just running with you. It's like, yeah, this is like nothing you would see in the main game. So I think they were just trying something out, something cute. And then instead of your, I know the main, mechanic in the main story is the slow time mechanic, where you kind of control all three characters and do a main ultimate like attack in combat. They stripped that off, and instead they put the pawn specters as the ultimate attack. And instead of like slow time attack, they do this kind of this ultimate animation, kind of like Super Smash Brothers, where they all come together and do this cute little animation of attacking the monsters. I think it's just kind of cool. They're just trying to add a different style to it.
So wait, they changed it from the original?
Yeah.
Why did they change it?
I think it was just something a little different. To be honest with you, the character attributes, I did not find them to be particularly like helpful in any way. I mean, I'm sure they gave me extra buffs, but I just didn't know what they were doing with it. So maybe they were just trying something a little different with this game. It's only 10. I feel like it's gonna be about 10 hours long, so I'm a bit over halfway right now. But I'm going good. I'm not playing as Shulk. I'm playing as the other characters. We got Kino and Nene, the little furball pawns as well. They have some amazing attacks. So I'm having a great time with Future Connected. And then last but not least, the game that Donnie could not pronounce in last week's show, Atelier Ryza.
What?
Atelier Ryza.
Garrett, listen, okay? You can't just make up games, okay? This is a respected format show. It's been adopted by fans. You can't just make stuff up. You got to come prepared.
Anyways, Atelier is a long-standing JRPG series.
Oh no, here we go.
I was just messing with you. So Atelier Ryza is the latest game of the series, of Atelier series. Normally, this game is about alchemy, and it's very JRPG trope-ish, as it's very lighthearted. It has the Japanese character style, only has subs. I would say it's good so far. It's just start out with the adventure with Ryza, who wants to go off on an adventure with her friends. It doesn't seem like anything's out of the ordinary with the story so far. you meet the kind of the situation with the island and the town, and you kind of go along with the story. I think the main mechanic behind this game that really hooks or grasps people is the alchemy system part. So basically what you do is you go out into the wild and you grab these items, like, and then they're all around like the wilderness or whatever. And then along the way you can battle monsters in combat or whatever. But basically you gather all these items, you go back to your house, and then you build like potions, buffs, and or bombs, weapons, equipments, or anything. And then it's actually a pretty intricate system of how to make certain items. Each item that you make is one of a kind. It's not going to be the same exact unless you go through the same exact steps. So there's a lot to it. I don't know how more I can explain about it. It's just a lot to the system that I'm really enjoying. I was like, okay, I see where the hook is with this game. It's that, and also the combat's pretty cool. It's just action time combat against monsters right now, and then basically you could do flurries of attacks. You do combos. You can easily put your characters more aggressively, so you can beat them up faster. I think overall it's a solid game. I just got to play a little bit more to see if it really interests me more, but I'm enjoying it. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
What about you, Bex?
I am still on the Super Mario RPG grind. I have been playing most days. It feels a little bit weird to be playing this after some of the other RPGs from that era that I played earlier this year. I feel like it hasn't really aged as well as some of the other ones. I've noticed that the controls are not quite as precise as some of the other games. Like every time Mario has to jump onto a platform, I don't know if it's just my depth perception or what, or like if it's just the game mechanics. I feel like it hasn't aged quite as gracefully. And it is like a little bit more basic than all the other RPGs that I've been playing lately. But that being said, I'm still enjoying it. There's a lot of witty writing in it. I've gotten 5 of the 7 stars so far. People tell me this is where the game really opens up. So I feel like I should be close to the end by now, but apparently there's still some more way to go. There are some difficulty spikes that I think are a little bit annoying in the game, but I think I've been getting really lucky with the RNG with some of the boss battles because I've been streaming this and people have been telling me I'm way too underleveled for this boss fight, way too underleveled, and then like I keep getting like crit hits or like the boss keeps missing me or something. So it doesn't feel like it's like super well designed in that regard, that if like I'm underleveled but I'm getting lucky and like still getting through, it works for me. But like if I wasn't getting lucky, I would probably be very frustrated.
Well, eventually your luck's gonna run out.
Exactly. Like eventually I'm gonna have to grind way more than I would have before to like get up to where I was. A couple other little things that just like kind of irked me, like really bad inventory management. Like I feel like there's not enough room in my inventory, but that's the case for a lot of those older games. I do like a lot of the puzzles that are in it, though. A lot of clever puzzles that give you hints without like really frustrating you too badly. So I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to beat that this weekend or early next week. Hopefully I can give my final impressions on it next week. The other thing that I played this week, I played a little bit on Sunday and then also yesterday, is this other game called Super Smash TV. I think it was originally called Smash TV. It's originally an arcade game. I'm playing the Super Nintendo version of it. And I didn't really know anything about this game before I started playing it. But once I looked into it a little bit more, I realized it's exactly like one of the mini games in Stardew Valley. If either of you guys have played Stardew Valley, the Journey of the Prairie King is exactly this kind of game. It's a shoot 'em up game where like you can shoot in 4 directions and like all of the guys come out. And like you have to shoot them and like go onto each room. But the thing that's unique about this game is that it's set up as like a game show style. It came out in the early 90s and it's set in 1999. So like you win fancy prizes like a VCR and like toasters and CRT TVs and things like that. But it's like a weird game show premise where like you go into a room and have to like shoot each other. It's kind of like a Hunger Games type premise of a game show. But it's pretty funny. There's some really hilarious dialogue in it. And it's just kind of mindless fun of like, okay, shooting and getting into the next room. And I was using all the the cheat codes and stuff to pass levels and stuff, and like
Cheat codes.
it felt very arcadey, like a very, you know, this is a good when you want to take a break from something else and just have mindless fun. So
I like those
that
games.
was
So
cool.
did chat. Everybody in chat really enjoyed watching.
I
play it.
didn't realize how many people knew about this. Like, I had never heard of this until just
I've
recently.
never heard of this. This is new to me.
Me too.
So when I started playing, I'm like, okay, nobody's gonna like come out to watch me play this game on stream, and a lot of people really liked it. Apparently, this was like old school arcade fun. So win big money, win VCRs, win toasters. It's a good time.
Cool.
Nice.
Anything else?
Oh, that's it.
Okay. Well, let's get into the news this week in Nintendo. And we've got some news to get into. Let's start at the top. Nintendo announces the long-rumored Pikmin 3 Deluxe is arriving on October 30th. Now, if we're keeping count at home, from the original reports and leaks that came out from Eurogamer, extremely trusted site within the industry, right, Caroline? Or Caroline. Oof. Right, Rebecca?
Yeah, apparently.
You can tell I'm used to arguing with Caroline. And then we have VentureBeat backing that up with Mr. Jeffrey Grubb, right? Is that also right? We're keeping track of that?
It appears
Maybe.
to be so.
And he said that we were going to be getting the Mario games that we've talked about quite a bit, the Pikmin game, the Paper Mario game, the
We
Mario
got
3D
2 of 'em.
World.
We did.
How are
We
you feeling
got
about that now?
Paper Mario and Pikmin? Okay, well, Pikmin has been rumored for a long time.
Let's not even give him credit.
Yeah.
Listen here, okay?
Walk a race to the side here.
Oh, that's
I'm
great.
agreeing with you. I'm saying that these rumors are indeed coming true.
October 30th, the day before Halloween, you can play the entire story co-op now. That includes new side missions, also co-op. All of the DLC from the original is included. They have new difficulty options, a new lock-on system with hints and an easier difficulty. Grouchy wants to know, does this Pikmin 3 port mean that 4 is coming? Are we closer to a remake of 1 and 2 before 4?
I have no idea.
I think we're
That's the correct
even
answer.
further
Yeah.
away. I think we're even further away from 4 now. If 4
Yeah.
was ready, they would have given us 4.
If 4 was close to being ready, I think they would have shown 4 instead of porting 3. By now at least. I'll put that clarification on there. We're what, year 3, almost 4 into Switch? If Pikmin 4 was as close to being ready as Miyamoto once suggested it, I don't think we'd be seeing 3, this late in the game. I think we would have gotten 3 already. So, and then we had another, Pikmin 3 has also been removed from the Wii U eShop.
Ooh.
That's
What
interesting.
do you think of that?
I don't like it because I don't think there's any need to do it. I did go. I think they did the same thing for Tropical Freeze.
They did.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I went, but here's
Wow.
but Mario U is still there, so they didn't take that one down.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions is still there.
I think so. I went and booted up the Wii U just to go and scroll, see if I could find a few things. I didn't specifically look for that one, but I
Yeah.
think I saw it on the tile. Because
Okay.
that homepage on the Wii U shop was... Yeah, listen here, folks. I know not many of you have a Wii U. There's only like 13 of us in the world.
Pretty much.
But if you've ever thought that you hated the Switch eShop and the Switch system, just do yourself a favor. Go YouTube Wii U shop, and you'll see like what true bad eShop is. So, but yeah, I don't like it. I just don't see who's it helping? Is it helping anyone?
What's the point of it?
I think the point that you could argue is that maybe if they take it down off the Wii U shop, if you're using the app or you're going on the browser and you type it in, you're only getting one result returned instead of 2. But even then, it's not that big of a deal. But also, now that I say that, this is also a company that doesn't do returns. They don't do refunds. So it actually could be a big deal if you have 1,000 people that don't know what they're doing, buy the wrong version. And then they got to call you.
It's even more nuanced than that. I feel like they don't want to give the people the option because, of course, talking about it is going to drum up the hype. People who might not have Switches but still have a Wii U might be seeing all of these people get excited about Pikmin 3 and say, okay, well, I don't have a Switch, or maybe they don't want to or can't shell out $60 for the deluxe version and say, okay, I still want to get on the hype. Let me get it for the Wii U. And now they can't. To me,
they
that's
still
just not
can,
consumer friendly.
Pikmin 3 is like $4 on Amazon. Like they're giving
Yeah,
the
you
game
can-
away at a point. Like
I know, but it's still options.
That's
I don't
true.
know.
No, I'm
I think
with you.
More
I
options
don't like
are
it.
always better.
Like I said, I don't like it. I think there's a way that you could remove it from your browser store, but still leave it up on the Wii U
Leave it
hardware.
on the yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I don't like it. So, but it is what it is. I don't, look, I'm not going to act like I'm up in arms or triggered by Pikmin 3 anything. It's like, it's Pikmin 3. Okay.
Pretty much.
Jonathan asks, with Pikmin 3 on the way, is there any other Wii U games that you want to see arrive on Switch, or can we finally close the doors on ports from that generation already?
I'm thinking. I don't know.
I'll say the obvious ones just to get them out of the way. I mean, there's 2 fantastic Zelda ports over there that we don't have.
Of course.
So those are easy pickings. It's hard because without the gamepad, like not having the gamepad rules out a lot of things. Mm-hmm. I know that the gamepad was a part of it. It could be mixed to do without it. So I will go ahead and say I would like to see Fatal Frame, the Maiden of Blackwater, come to Switch, only because Nintendo, it's basically a Nintendo franchise as I understand it. Like, they published that game. The only people that were interested in doing that. And Nintendo doesn't have like a horror genre game like that. The only thing they have are really old Resident Evil releases. And then like the little indie releases that we have. We do have some indie horror stuff. So it's not completely, apropos. But I liked Fatal Frame. And the Fatal Frame on Wii U was good. And you could play it with a Pro Controller. So I think they could port it if they wanted to with minimal investment. So that's one that I would like to have, although I say that knowing damn well it wouldn't sell. I don't know if it'd sell 100,000 copies if they did it, so it probably will never come.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would also like to see the 2 Zeldas. I would buy them again to have them as part of the collection. I don't think they will, in my opinion. But those are probably the only 2 that I actually really, really want to be ported, besides Yoshi's Woolly World, which I know they won't port that either because Crafted World exists.
NES remix.
I wouldn't buy it.
Oh, really? The game's
Probably
fun.
not.
I mean, I've always wanted them to do an SNES remix. I don't know why they went away from it. It was really fun. I really enjoyed that game quite a bit. And then, like Nintendo Land, you can't do. Nintendo Land would be awesome.
I would take
but
a
you can't
Nintendo
do
Land too. I want a sequel for that game.
Yeah. Without the gamepad, it'd be different, but I'd still be open to it. I wouldn't mind if they took some of that game, like that Donkey Kong game. That would be sweet. That'd be fun to play, but I don't think you could do it either. I mean, I guess, the Switch does not have a built-in microphone.
No.
So you couldn't do it.
Doesn't.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
you couldn't do it.
That is true.
Man. So.
We're scraping.
Yeah, we're scraping the barrel. And if you rule out third parties, and most of the indies have already made the jump, and a lot of the first parties have already made the jump, and I agree with you. I don't think they're going to put Zelda over. I thought for a long time it was a given because I would buy it, and so would you, and a lot of people would at $60. I want to say I think that they put that out there because Breath of the Wild was having development issues at the time, so they were like, quickly, we need to get something up. And
definitely.
Definitely. They don't need Wind Waker now, so I don't know if they would re-release it. As much as I want to say they'll probably hold it. They've been holding Pikmin 3 for years, so like they probably have it if they need it. But I don't think
almost
they
ready
need
to
it.
go.
Yeah, so I don't think they're gonna
we got the ROM file. We're ready to switch over.
Right.
Pretty much. Guys, is Pikmin like, I don't know. I mean, like, I've never played a Pikmin game, and I don't know what it's like.
Pikmin 3 is definitely worth playing. It's a very good game. I think this might be a Garrett game. I think you might enjoy it more than most people, based off what you've kind of told me, some of the stuff you've gotten into in the past. I've never, I'm not over the moon about Pikmin. It's kind of like a Paper Mario situation for me, like a Yoshi game. Like, I like it. I've played them all. I think I beat the first one. I didn't beat Pikmin 3. It's a gorgeous game. That was one of the things I did. I did call out some of the popular Twitter folks. I saw somebody post side-by-side screenshots, and they were like, it's the same game. And I was like, because it was gorgeous to begin
beautiful.
with. It's like, what are you looking for?
Pikmin 3 is one of the ones that I got for free. They were giving out free copies of this if you pre-ordered Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, which I did, and I got it for free. And I like Pikmin. I really want, I consider myself to really like Pikmin, but I've never beat a Pikmin game. I tried to play this one. I talked a little bit about this before, where it just stresses me out. Like, I don't know what it is about this game, but I think it's either the time limit or the fact that just like the Pikmin are so pitiful when they die. Like, a little ghost flies up and they cry, and it just gave me too much anxiety to enjoy it. I think if they made it more relaxed and not so,
they did.
distress, the Pikmin will still die, and it's like all my fault. So I really want to like Pikmin. I really want to enjoy it. I want to support this game because I like Pikmin as a franchise.
I could just see Rebecca right now, just like throwing the Pikmin. It's like, no, don't die. It's just
So sad.
cry.
But Bingo Battle, I will play Bingo Battle.
Yeah, Garrett, you have to collect Pikmin in the environment, and they help you accomplish puzzles, and then you beat the boss. And that's kind of it. So there's a lot of strategy involved in terms of how you choose to use and allocate your Pikmin. I think that's where you might enjoy it quite a bit. And the boss battles are good. Like I said, it's a very beautiful game, and it's very charming and cute. So in that regard, it's a really good port, and I think it's great that people have it. I'm not going to rebuy it. I have it on Wii U. I'm not going to play it. And one of the things that I do think is a little just misfortunate because of the Switch just not being the Wii U. On Wii U, they updated the control scheme, and they added a stylus control scheme. And
I do remember the controls were nice.
I think it was the best way to play Pikmin. And I'm telling you, I've played Pikmin on standard stick controls. I've played it with a Wii pointer, and I've played it on stylus, and I had a way more fun. I remember that update, if I want to say off the top of my head, because I did not look it up and I should have. That update came out a little bit after launch. It took a while. It wasn't like super fast. Like they came out with like a whole new update that made the game load faster and everything. And they're like, and you can control. It's like, where was this, 4 months ago, guys, when you launched the game? But essentially, Garrett, you had your gamepad and you had your stylus, and you would look at the TV to see what you were doing. But on the gamepad, you could like just scribble like a circle, and it would call all your Pikmin to you. And if you wanted to throw them, you could just like tap, and it would throw it for you. And you were not looking at the gamepad screen. It was all feel. Like once you got used to it, like you would move the stick with one hand and then tap with the other. But once you got used to it, it totally made sense. It was very 3DS probably inspired, because the 3DS, you play a lot of games just like that. Like the Kid Icarus game plays very similar to that. And I at least thought it was a great way to play. And I think it's one of the things that this port just didn't do it for me, because I think I've even said it on the show. I think maybe in our Wii U cast, if anybody wanted to fact check me, I think I was like, I don't know if I'd ever want to not play Pikmin that way. Or at the very least a pointer, because like on Wii, it made a lot of sense. You point at the screen with the Wiimote, right? And you could do your gestures. I said in the Discord, and I do believe it, in a lot of ways, Pikmin 3 did all of the motion like gimmick controls that Wonderful 101 just missed on. Like they tried to do it and they didn't do it, but Pikmin 3 totally did it. Gotcha. Because I took it, when I went to Pikmin 3, I took to it like a duck in water. Just, it was second nature. Like I just like, oh yeah, this is much easier. I'm going to play the game this way now. It was different, and they were trying to do a lot of that. I think if you guys remember, I don't want to say, you all had Wii U's? I can't remember anymore. Okay, so
I still have my Wii U, yes.
So there was that period where they launched the Wii U with like an awesome Mario game, and then they had this terrible drought, like at launch. And then that second year they came back, and it was like a double down effort on proving to you why the gamepad was important. Right? And they started doing a lot of things that were implementing little screen gimmicks like that. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse was doing that. They had like the Amiibo tap. They were trying to get you, because apparently Nintendo Land didn't sell it to people. So they were trying to sell it to people. And I thought they nailed it. But that aside, I'm not excited for this news. I think
it's nice that they're adding a decent amount of content. It seems like they're adding a good amount of DLC and a couple other modes to it. Which I think is nice, because if they're going to keep it at $60, I would expect that new stuff instead of for Tropical Freeze, where they're increasing the price and adding a Funky Kong mode. That's a hard sell.
Still remember, to the majority of their customers, it's a brand new game.
Yep.
A majority.
And you know what? I have a
Still
problem.
nice. I'm just saying it's nice.
I have a problem with the stylus controls. You know why? I'm left-handed.
Oh.
I don't want to move on my right thumb
gotcha.
and circle and spin with my left.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. So this is going to be the type of mode that I'm going to have
Well,
to
you're not going to do it because like on the Switch, they don't have the second screen. So everything's just going to be... Yeah, just be sticks.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be good.
I just felt, I don't know, intuitive. It was intuitive motion controls, and I like intuitive motion controls. So I really liked it, but it won't be here. Is it Kieran?
I think so.
Kieran asks, do you think they'll port the other Pikmin games? So this is interesting because they did port the other Pikmin games to the Wii U via like Wii release eShops. I think they even updated them to patch them with that control scheme I was talking about.
Really?
So like they patched the old ones. I don't think so. Maybe like if they add Wii Virtual Console to Nintendo Switch Online at some point, maybe, but probably not.
I think if they were planning on doing it, they would have just released it all together.
As a collection.
In one package, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't. And I feel like Pikmin isn't the kind of game where you need to have played the first two to understand the third one and so on. So
yeah, it's definitely
they probably don't see very much point. Let's put the best one on and call it a day.
Okay,
cool.
So I'm happy for anybody that's buying it. I'm happy for Kevin. I'm happy that he's finally excited. It's nice that, there's 4 games that exist in the universe that can get him excited, and this is one of them. So I'm happy for him, but I'll be passing on it. What about you guys? Are you guys going to buy it?
I'm interested. It very much depends on Bravely Default 2 and when that releases.
October's a weird time for this game, too.
It is.
Remember, I told you guys I was expecting this game out by mid-September.
A little bit earlier, yeah.
Like they're kind
and
of
I was like all
what?
the way end of October. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like they're starting to enter close to the fall, and it's like, okay, guys.
Where's the Mario game?
You got to say something.
Come on.
Right. But Halloween just seems way off. Like when they were like October 30th, I was like, what?
It'll be here before you know it.
Oh, it will be. Oh, trust me, I know. I have just dropped so much money on Halloween decorations. You guys have no idea.
I love it. I love
We're not even have trick or treaters.
no kids
I'm
around.
still doing it. I'm still gonna decorate. Now I can get excited. No More Heroes has been rated in Taiwan. The Taiwan Digital Game Rating Committee has rated a Nintendo Switch version for No More Heroes. Obviously, this is the original game and released on the Wii in 2007, 13 years ago. This is not No More Heroes 3. So I did chime in. This came out in the middle of the night. It was like right at midnight that this story popped, and I chimed in with my immediate thoughts. Immediate thought 1, No More Heroes 3 is totally being delayed. It's totally going to be delayed into 2021. Immediate thought 2, last time I spoke to Suda51 here at MomoCon and I got a chance to interview him, he said that he would love to port the original No More Heroes games 1 and 2 to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. And I hope that this is evidence of that. We have not seen anything on No More Heroes 2 yet, so this sounds like it's a standalone release. I hope it's touched up. That's the part that I'm starting to get that's the part that I'd be concerned with, because they re-released Killer 7 and it did look better on PC, but they didn't touch the controls at all. And I'm telling you, to go back into 2004 and play Killer 7, it's kind of rough. You're like, what am I doing anymore? Games have come a long way in a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. So I am very excited about this. I love the No More Heroes series. It is a big favorite of mine. I know it's not super popular, but I really like it. I really like the character, and I would love nothing more than to revisit them in HD up-resed with modern controls. I'm not asking for a full remaster, like a full remake, but just touch up the resolution, make it sharper, redo the motion controls to make it applicable to be playing on the go, and let me replay those stories. And I say that as somebody who has played No More Heroes 2 in the last month. I've been kind of making my way through No More Heroes 2, leading up to anticipating the release of 3 being announced. So I would love nothing more to replay these on the Switch. Cool.
Sorry. I got nothing, man.
I got nothing either.
I never played them, and sorry.
It's I get it, and I wouldn't fault anybody for that. It's a hard sell to a lot of people. Travis is very much like a 90s character. It's misogynistic, and it's crude, and it's crass, and it's punk, and that's kind of what Suda is. And it's there's not a lot of those games left. It's very kind of grindhouse in a way, but it can also be very touching. It'd be very funny. A lot of bad people meet the end of their ways in glorious, bloody streams of death.
Not for me.
Style.
At all.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of heads being chopped off, and you suplex people, and it's wacky. The thing I've always loved about the No More Heroes series, it's just incredibly odd and weird. You have mini games and mini side missions where you work at a fast food restaurant or you play with your cat while you go off and kill people. It makes no sense. You're like, what is happening? Yeah. So anyway, if you guys can't tell, I'm very, very excited. It looks like the No More Heroes, the original game, is coming to Switch. And if you can take Suda's word for it, that probably means the second one should follow soon after. And then like I said, I really take this news to mean that 3 is probably delayed.
What do you think the price would be for No More Heroes 1?
$25.
Okay, that's a price that I'm like, you know what, I'll try it out.
So here's the thing: every time I think of what a price should be, I always add like 20% to that. So it probably is going to be $29.99. Like everybody's like, Donnie, how much is the Xbox going to be worth? Or I'm like, it's probably like $500. So maybe add 50 to it.
Cool.
The only reason I say that is it's a port. It's a port of an old game. It doesn't have the second game, right? If it was a collection and it was a really up-res and everything, I could understand charging $60. But I think what would hurt it if they charged $60 for just this, I think it would hurt it because they didn't charge that much for Travis Strikes Again. And they're completely different games, I know, but one of them was a brand new game, one of them was a port. And I think that's just weird, you know, it's a weird stance. It's like a weird, what's one of those word I'm looking for? It just looks weird. Like to public perception, the optics are going to look weird. It's like, wait a minute, your brand new
logistics.
Game, right? Your brand new game is, you know, I think the brand new one was $24 digitally and it was like $39.99 physical, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like that would make no sense if No More Heroes 13-year-old game came out. And that's the other thing. They've done touch-ups on No More Heroes. Like they released it on PlayStation 3, it was touched up. It's not like incredibly touched up. You know, I wouldn't expect them to like blow me away with what this looks like visually. I don't think they've ever proven, you know, like they're just going to like crank it up a bit. Maybe they do though. Maybe it looks amazing. Like No More Heroes 3 and everything they're showing in cutscenes and everything, the style looks gorgeous. I can't wait to play it. But in other remasters that I've seen them do, like the Silver Case, like Killer 7, like they look good, but they're not like remakes. It's not like Wind Waker HD remake. Like Wind Waker HD was a looker. Like when they showed you that in the bloom lighting for the first time, I was like, oh my God, look at this remake. It looks like a brand new game. I don't expect this will look like that at all. Like this is not going to look like that at all. It's going to look like the PlayStation 3 version of the game, I bet. It's probably, you know, pretty much a port from there, I would imagine. Maybe a little bit, but I can't imagine they're actually doing a whole lot of work to it.
Okay, sounds good.
Maybe they'll change my mind.
I'll check a look.
Check a look. Ooh,
yeah.
Nintendo reports first quarter 2020 earnings, and they're big. Net profits up over 500%. Nintendo Switch console has sold 5.6 million units during the quarter. Slightly more consoles versus lights. It was like, I think it was like 52-48, but it's interesting how they're really kind of keeping pace with each other. It's roughly 50-50, and people are split on handheld versus the console model. And I wonder if that is a factor of availability. Remember, they can't keep these things in stock. They are constantly going out of stock. So maybe people have just reached the point they're like, give me a Switch. Any Switch. I don't care. Like, if you have one, I want to play Animal Crossing on it.
Could be.
That puts today's total Nintendo Switch hardware sales now at 61.44 million units and poised to take over the sales of the Nintendo 3DS by next year. And it's likely probably already overtaken NES. They're about 500,000 official short of that number. But this is last quarter. We're already into this quarter based on the sales projections, probably already outpaced the NES.
I would think so.
Okay, guys, Nintendo 2DS, it's $100, renewed on Amazon. Go get it. It has a lot of great games.
He's like, all right, 3DS people, let's get it together. You got to keep that number.
Let's band together. Let's pull it.
The charts that they listed in their financial report, I'm not sure if you guys looked at them or not, but to see the pace that Switch is outselling 3DS is bonkers, because 3DS insane. Was a success. It wasn't the DS, but I don't think many people expected it to be the DS with the climate that the 3DS launched in. And considering the amount of models and the cheap prices they had them at and all of the availability options 3DS, to see Switch steadily outpacing it. Whoa. I mean, it's way up on it. Yeah, it's like lapping it at this point. It's really impressive. They did release a state on the coronavirus. Quote, COVID-19 has created some difficulties in procuring the parts required for the manufacture of Nintendo Switch consoles, but that situation is almost recovered. And they did announce that they are expecting to be back to normal, at least on the hardware front, shortly. Unless there are more complications that arise. If we have, a secondary outbreak with all the, folks going back to school and stuff, if things like that start happening and it starts getting worse, it could be worse. Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold more than 10 million units in the quarter.
Oh my gosh.
in the quarter. That brings
That's a scary number.
That brings Animal Crossing to the second most sold game outright.
22 million, by the way.
22 million copies, 4 million behind Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that is putting it above Smash, Breath of the Wild, and
Oh my
Pokemon.
gosh. I can't believe it.
I
can't
was
believe
having
it.
some big Twitter fights with people about this today.
What's the
really?
fight
What's
about?
the fight about?
How it's the only reason why is because of COVID, and otherwise
no.
It's
it
not
would
the only
never
reason,
have-
but it's an attributing factor.
I think it's definitely a contributing factor,
Yeah.
but I think it's unfair to say that it wouldn't have done well otherwise, and that we can't call it a big one of their top franchises because of it.
Listen here, folks that are arguing with Rebecca on Twitter. I had to eat crow on this, and so do you. Like, you got to eat crow on
You're
this.
gonna lose, man. You're gonna lose.
This game could bypass and be the highest selling game on Switch. I don't know how many more copies of Mario Kart 8 they can sell.
To be quite honest, yeah. I think COVID it increased the rate at which the sales are going up, maybe. But man, that game has legs, and it's not legs to just the gamers. Just remember that it's not just the gamers; it's everyone. It's every normal person out there. It's my girlfriend that put 700 hours into Animal Crossing. She has never played a video game in her life.
Yep.
This is like her game. So
There are people buying consoles just to play the game.
It kind of
her
reminds
friends
me
are
of
doing that.
how
Victoria's friends are too. That's
how
how
fast the Wii was sold.
that's
I
how
feel
in
like
demand this game is. It's not a $60 game. It's a $260 game because people are buying consoles just to play the game. They have no idea or inkling to buy any other games. They're like, it's okay.
Yep.
I just want to play this one game.
And people are trying to argue with me and say, well, that's because it reaches such a wide audience. Of course, that's going to be the
course.
case. That's
Duh.
the point. That's the whole point I'm
course.
trying to make.
Yeah.
That
I'm
sounds that
correct.
much because,
Thank you.
Thank you for making my point.
Yeah. It's the Wii Sports and all that. Well, yeah, there's a reason you
to
make
say
those
that
games.
It's not in the big leagues with Zelda and Mario and
Oh, it
the rest of
absolutely
them,
is.
Smash and whatnot. Of course, it is now.
It absolutely is.
And I went back and looked at the numbers. That webpage had all of the sales numbers for the other consoles. Animal Crossing Wild World and New Leaf both sold 10 million units as well.
Wow.
I feel like 2 10 millions plus a 20 million. Come on.
Well, and I did say leading up to it, like the whole, as the rise of social media has come on and the sharing and the streaming, that was my big thing that I kept saying about Animal Crossing leading into it. I was like, this could set this Animal Crossing apart from the others because we just have so many more tools to share and stuff than we used to. Like on 3DS, people are taking pictures of their screens and like sharing little like QR codes. Now you can actually sit down and watch somebody as they build their town and talk to them and stuff. Like, it's so much more social. And I think that's a contributing factor in a big way because we're seeing people share their stuff, visit each other's islands, get each other's stuff. Like it's that social aspect that this game has that a lot of other games don't, that give it an extra boost as well. But it's absolutely a behemoth. It's a juggernaut. It has no signs of slowing down anytime soon. I'm going to ask you a question I've already asked you, Rebecca. Will Nintendo take this success and double down and make sure that the player base is being served? Like, if you're selling this many copies, like, I think that puts the responsibility on Nintendo to make sure that you supply them with content, have expansions to the game, and not 5 years later, like they did with Pocket Camp, have stuff there for them.
Yes. So I'm looking at the chart right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. The top 5 games, the top 5 selling Switch games right now, 3 of them have paid DLC: Pokemon Sword and Shield, Breath of the Wild, and Smash. The only other one that doesn't is Mario Kart, and that's because it came with its DLC.
Yeah.
So I feel like at this point, it's pretty inevitable that it's, it will eventually have paid DLC as well. I do believe that that they already have a year's worth of free content planned for it. I think that they already know what they're going to add for the fall, for the winter, for next year, in spring. I think they released this game knowing what that full year of updates would be. I think we'll probably see additional updates in the form of paid DLC after that.
Yeah, and I'm looking for big expansions, like big stuff, not little events and fireworks.
That is the kind of stuff I think they're working on right now.
That would be smart. Garrett, Xenoblade Definitive Edition reached 1.3 million units in its first 31 days.
That's pretty good.
I say it
Not
all the
gonna
time.
lie.
Anytime any game goes over a million, like that's a success story.
It's already the second best selling Xenoblade game now.
I did see a tweet that I retweeted. Apparently, Animal Crossing sold more units this quarter than the entire franchise of Metroid has ever sold.
That's so sad.
Goodness.
This one quarter, 4 months, this 4 months of Animal Crossing has moved more units than any Metroid game combined.
That actually does make me a
And
little
then
sad.
Nintendo's
I
like,
Metroid.
yeah, we can delay Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, they're
It's
like,
okay.
why did we tell them we were making this game again? Shh.
Yeah.
If we don't talk about it anymore, maybe it'll just go away.
No.
Remember what we did to Pikmin?
Make Metroid. Honestly.
Remember? We told them Pikmin 4 was coming? Psh, it's done.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, guys. That's so sad.
Yarden Angel asks, the Switch just passed 60 million units sold. Will it pass the Wii? 101 million units to Switch. Have another 40 million in it.
I
Oh,
don't
man.
know.
That's a hard one.
That is hard. I don't know if it could.
Okay, I have an answer for this, and the answer is a little twofold. As it currently stands, I would say no. I would bet against no. You're talking about 3 years of probably the most concentrated Nintendo first-party output that I think they are they can conceivably put on a system, and that got them to 60. I don't think they have another 3 years of that in them. I think we're seeing that already, as evident by this year. But if they decide to bridge generations and come out with a Switch Pro that extends the life of the Switch and beyond, another 2 or 3 years, let's say they get another 5 or 6 years out of the same family, then I think it's possible.
It's going to be there. It could be within the realm.
It would be close. I still don't think it. I don't know. I guess it would depend on how much of a push that would be.
I think you think about it this way. A lot of Nintendo Switch owners would buy multiple consoles. I think that's a part of it. I own 3 of them myself. Also, if they came out with a Pro model, like this is very much like, you guys get what I'm saying? Like you have the 3DS and then you have the new 3DS and then you have the 3DS XL. Very different things of hardware, but all extended the life of the 3DS as in terms of total sales. If they come out with a Switch Pro and Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid Prime 4 and another Mario Kart, can they get to 100 million? If they extend out a little bit, I think so.
I think if they would have to make those games exclusive to that in order to push enough, in my opinion.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No?
Nope. I think they could have Breath of the Wild 2 run like Breath of the Wild 1 runs on the OG hardware and have a boosted mode where it runs overclocked on the new hardware.
You think 20 million people would upgrade?
Yeah.
Really?
I think for Zelda, I think in the
grabbers,
Zelda
yes.
world, I think anything Zelda, you can at least get 10, which makes me think that of all the other ones, I think you can probably scrounge up another 10. I think so. I mean, the question will always be
Didn't
cost.
happen with the new 3DS.
New 3DS, it barely did anything. It didn't improve the graphics at all.
It added the
But that's-
little C stick.
That's the point. It wasn't really a difference in the game. Right?
There's
There's not like a
difference in
giant
frame rates
difference
or anything like that
between the games that you play on the new 3DS versus the old 3DS, and then the ones that you would are just exclusive. Imagine if Breath of the Wild was 1080p 30 on a Switch Pro.
You're running on the assumption that Nintendo fans care about that much. There's some
true.
do.
Not all of them.
20 million?
I think, well, here's the thing. I think releasing more hardware of that ilk will attract new customers. I think new customers will buy. I think some old customers will rebuy, and I think if you do provide a performance upgrade, there will be people out there like me that'll rebuy them. I only need to point you to the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X.
Because I think that audience cares more about that performance and graphics push than we do.
I agree. I'm not talking about the global Nintendo base. I'm talking about Nintendo diehard fans that always want to
first
buy.
year.
I
They
agree with
just
that. I
sold
don't
an
think there's
NES
20 million of those
made out of
people, though.
Legos. Okay.
Yeah.
like I'm just telling you that if they
20
release a new system, Nintendo fans will buy it.
Like they're like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to buy another console.
I don't know if
to
20
do
20
this.
might be tough, but that's the thing.
Yeah,
If
that's
I'm,
true.
I'm kind of lopping it all together. If you take the people that are going to buy another one, buy duplicates, buy for a performance upgrade, or new people that'll buy one for their own, I think it's possible they could get there. I don't think that number's out of reach. I don't think the number's out of reach at all. If they can go 15
I don't think
a
it's out of
year,
reach, no. I
if they
think
can go
it's
15 a year,
gonna
that's
be hard.
3 to 4 years, right? And if they can get a Switch Pro to extend that 3 to 4 years to 5 or 6, then I think it's totally in reach. The question is, do they switch Pro or do they switch 2? That's the real question to answer this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they could just hold off on a while and then launch Breath of the Wild with Switch 2, and now you've got to buy it. They could
Knowing
totally do
Nintendo, though, they love to milk their consoles like to the end.
that. Oh yeah,
So Switch Pro is it seems reasonable. But I get you, Rebecca, that the audience, like, oh, we're not going to jump for the graphics. But if you look at the comparison videos on Nintendo's, I don't know, YouTube, it's like, maybe.
I think I look at it differently from just a graphic standpoint. I'm thinking more of the lines of the people that bought a Metroid 3DS and a Zelda 3DS and a Pokemon 3DS and a.
That's the thing, but that's a different argument.
That's a different audience.
I think that's a different argument. Like putting out special editions of those, like people who want to collect them. Like if they put out a special edition Breath of the Wild Switch, okay, that might sell people more than the fact that it's fancy and like is a little bit prettier, in my opinion.
Okay,
We'll see.
I'll buy one, and that's all that matters to me.
Me too.
For me, I will take a Switch Pro in a heartbeat.
You got 2 people, Nintendo.
That's it.
All right,
That's 2.
get 19,900,000.
I think there's at least 10. I would say I think there's at least 10. Universal Orlando's Nintendo expansion has been delayed indefinitely. Not that it was opening anytime soon to begin with, as the Super Mario Park was scheduled to be open in 2023. They also delayed the one in Japan. I believe it's not opening till later this upcoming year. It was supposed to open this year, like this fall. And it's just been delayed. So, womp womp.
Well,
I saw that the Nintendo New York store is reopening, and you can go, but you have to like schedule an appointment.
Reservations.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think they're only allowing like 2 people in the store at a time or something like that.
I mean, it's kind of smart. Be as safe as you can.
Definitely.
Oh, for sure. Don't they have an online storefront now? Don't they? Didn't New York?
They do,
open?
but I don't think they sell everything that they sell in store.
See, that would have been the opportunity to like, okay, go virtual, put your stuff up.
Have you guys been to the Nintendo store?
I have.
No,
It's so good.
It's
I've been saying for years that I would take a trip up to go because I'm just a
You're
train.
so close.
I'm close.
Yeah,
So
that's
close.
And I haven't ever. And then
It's
like I was
expensive.
going to like every single year I say I'm going to, and then I didn't. And then like I was actually going to this year, and then
This
Then
happened.
COVID happened. Speaking of this happening, like we all are wearing our PSVG house party shirts. Speaking of how COVID and stuff happens, patrons, if you haven't got yours, keep your eye on the mail. Now let's time to get into our Shack questions direct from you. Take it away, Rebecca.
Yes, Zach wants to know who's getting the book about Iwata when it comes out.
Pre-ordered.
Pre-ordered.
I didn't pre-order it yet.
It's actually on discount too.
I want it though. I'm gonna pre-order.
By the
it.
time we get it, it's going to be like $14.
Yeah, I don't care. It's all good.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. I'm really interested in a lot of the stuff that's in that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's just, I know his passing just happened, and I've told the story about what we used to do on the anniversary of his passing, and it's so weird the fact that he was a CEO of a company. You know, it's not like, necessarily. I mean, I know that he was, but he's not necessarily like, the face, like in commercials and stuff, like a Mario or something like that. But in a lot of ways, to a lot of consumers, he did, especially through the rise of the directs. But to be honest with you, I just wanted to say the more and more I learn about the man, the more I'm impressed with him. It goes beyond like a love that I have for Nintendo and Nintendo products. It goes beyond a love for how he kind of steered Nintendo, I think, into the direction that we all love. And I give him mad credit for that. But like from the Iwata asks like stuff and how he used to be in the directs and just the stories that came out after he passed away and all the testimonials of how he was to work with and the things that he used to do, all of that just make me just like, I can't wait to read this book because he was truly a special person. I think way above and beyond our fandom for Nintendo and way above and beyond, like anything like that. He truly, like if he had worked at anywhere, if he had worked at Intel or something like that, I think he would have risen through the ranks because, like he was really smart and probably just tried way harder at life than I ever wanted to. Like it's very, very impressive.
Have you guys read the Console Wars book?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I heard of Satoru Iwata, and and the stuff he did in that book. I was like, dang.
There's so many.
That's
Did
it.
you ever watch his keynote when he first came on? His keynote.
No,
Talking
I
about,
didn't.
like,
I didn't read much more into him.
Oh
other than
man, his
that.
keynote is top level stuff, and like when he like basically like came on, kind of introduced himself as the face, and he talks about, you know, he wasn't a corporate suit, he was a game developer, he's a maker, and he brought that vision with him to the forefront of the company, and I think the company benefited greatly from that. And you see the risks and the things that they took. I think only a developer would take those sort of risks. I don't think a businessman would, because they were different and they were extreme.
Definitely.
And they were risky. And sometimes the risk paid off. Yes, sometimes the risk didn't pay off. Wii U. But he took risks because he believed in the games that they were making, not the systems that they were making, not, as Rebecca would put it, the stuff that's in the system that they were making. They never got caught up into that stuff, and a lot of that is attributed to Iwata.
Jabbo Thunder wants to know thoughts on if Nintendo will ever get achievements.
I hope not.
Really?
I know he likes them. I don't do achievements. I turn them off on PlayStation. I don't see them. I don't really care about them. I never have.
Really?
Yeah.
Guys, neither of you guys like achievements. Okay, I guess I'm the only one that likes achievements. I think it would be cool, but I don't think Nintendo will ever do that, just because that's not the forefront of their mind. Like all the time.
They put them in game. There are games
that
that have
doesn't.
them.
I don't know. I don't
So
care
that's the
about
thing.
that.
My question with the argument then is I always come back to, because we've had this question, and I've debated this with some of our achievement hunters on team. I don't understand what greater good it serves.
Okay, I can understand that. I think, coming from, actually, I started my love for achievements with PlayStation with the trophies.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of, I love the game so much that I'm willing to do the extra stuff that's behind these achievements to get there. And I think I like showing that off too.
I think that's the only part of it, is the people like showing it off.
Yeah.
To brag how much they've
And
done.
I don't necessarily think that's. I'm not saying that you do it in a malicious intent. I'm just saying that that's a byproduct of that logic, and I just don't think it's very Nintendo. I don't see, like, that's what I mean by the greater good.
Yeah.
What's the greater good? What's the net positive on that? I don't think there is one.
Yeah, and I think it's a nice, neat little mini game. Besides the game that you already beat and which you love as well, I think it's not a matter of showing off. I think it's like, wow, I got there, and only 2% or 1% of the other players got there too. That's kind of
That
cool.
part is cool to see.
Let me tell you, I'm not proud of Assassin's Creed Unity Platinum, okay? But I did it just because, I don't know.
Why?
I like
See,
getting
again, the
like
greater
trophies.
good. Why would you do that?
Did you have fun doing it, or did you feel like you had to do it to like check the little?
I beat the game, and then I was like 80% of the way through the trophies. I'm like, you know what? I'm going all the way with this. Okay. And I think, and there's a matter of opinion with achievements, game to game specific, and that's a whole other issue and conversation. But thoughts on if Nintendo will ever get them? I doubt it. I would rather get customization on my UI first and foremost than achievements. Okay, achievements is like kind of the bottom.
I mean, chat is definitely not agreeing with me. I see Sean. Obviously, I would expect Sean to say the things that he's saying. I don't think Nintendo should be doing the things that are necessarily standard on every other platform, Sean, for all the same reasons I just listed why Iwata did them. So in a lot of ways, I think that they differentiate themselves, and that's the thing that makes them special. Also, just because it's, a standard. What is a standard? The fact that it was on last gen and this gen, that's not necessarily a standard in video game. It's a standard on 4 consoles. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Like, that's not a standard. A standard would be something like, a D-pad. That's a standard. Ultimately, look, I'm not saying that people that like achievements are bad. So that's one of those things where sometimes you have arguments to oppose seems to be against. I'm not against it. If they did it, if they did it today, I would be the exact same way I am on Xbox and PlayStation. I would just turn them off and keep playing the game. I don't like it because I don't like feeling like I'm being it's a meta game, really, is what it is. Like you're being, you get that jingle and like they're just trying to like keep you on the hook. I don't like any of that stuff. I want to play my game like completely uninterrupted. I don't have notifications on. I don't like the little message like your friend's online or anything like that. I don't like any of that. So I turn it all off. And I have achievements. I don't know how many. I have trophies. I don't know how many. I don't care. There are things that happen in the background as I play the game. I've never gone out of the way and sat down and go, I'm going to play this game and get all of the achievements, because that part of it's never mattered to me. The part of that matters to me is, do I beat the game? Am I enjoying the game? Having fun with the game? And sometimes I think achievements might come in the way of that.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you. Okay.
There are lots of people that play games just to get achievements. Games they wouldn't play, games that are not even good.
I think that's a relic of the past. I think that's a little too much now. I think that was a little bit of a meta game maybe 10 years ago.
There's a lot of Vita players that have games that are built specifically for trophies. There are Vita games that are built to give you a platinum trophy in 4 minutes.
Yeah, there's
My
360 and PS4 games.
My
Go
favorite was
for it.
when Toby Fox added the achievements to Undertale for the PS4, and he didn't want to do it, but you have to for PS4. So he just added achievements as like, reach the first area of the game, reach the second area of the game, reach the third, all the way down to beat the final boss. And those were the achievements because he didn't want to add them.
So I got 2 things here from Sean. He says, I would really like to have an achievement for beating Xenoblade. Sean, your achievement for beating Xenoblade is the fact that you beat Xenoblade. And
It's
then
the credit screen.
And then the next thing is, he said there are massive communities for trophy hunting. And I know there are. There are entire websites dedicated to it. On eBay, you can pay people to earn trophies for you.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's been a thing. That's been a thing for a decade.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
For a while now.
Yeah.
But play the game.
Again, my
Exactly.
point that I always bring up in this argument is, what's the greater good? Is there a greater good to having them? I don't think so.
Oh my.
Have you ever thought of a game though, Donnie, when you finish it and you think you're done with it, it's like, man, I want to try a little bit something extra.
Yeah, no, I have. The one game that I did it with was The Last of Us. I never platinumed The Last of Us, but I did want to find all the collectibles.
Okay.
Now, I didn't do it for the achievement. I did it for the wanting to find all the collectibles.
But
So I
wait.
used the guide to get all the collectibles. It just happened that it happened to be an achievement.
I
Okay.
feel like you can still do that with the things that are built into the game, though. Like for Breath of the Wild, there's side quests and stuff, and it checks them off
Yeah.
as you go. Like that's kind of achievements. If
And
you
you
want
got
to do
achievements in
everything,
Twilight
if you want to
Princess.
do everything that there is to do in a game, just do that. Why do
Yep.
you need a separate app to tell you that you've done it?
Well, it's not necessarily like I need a separate app to do it, but it's standardized, right? Like, and I'm
You
saying
like it
like
compiled and attached to your profile. I know.
my dream is to have achievements all across all my systems and platforms.
Unified.
Like all unified, right? And like I would love to build a website to do that. And like I don't know, it may not include Nintendo games, and that is fine. But like I think that would, you get
Sean
some
does
serious
bring up,
bank
yeah,
off
they
of
had
that.
stamps. That's what I was trying to talk about with Twilight Princess. They earned stamps you could earn and then use in Miiverse.
was
I
built
thought
into-
that was awesome.
That was good. I like that kind
Okay.
of stuff. I would like something like for first party Nintendo games, if you beat the game, that you unlock maybe a theme for your Switch or something like
I'd
that.
be okay with that
That's
too.
the kind of stuff
100%.
that I would be good with.
I just,
And
like
they
I
do
s-
that in Sony as well.
I guess maybe I'm a little jaded because I've heard from a long time. I listen to lots of podcasts, right? I've heard a long time people that are reviewers and stuff that they have fake and demo accounts or team accounts, because people will like look up their profiles and be like, how dared you gave this game a 6, but you didn't get the gold trophy on hard
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's like, there's nothing good coming out of it. Like a lot of it, and it's not that there's nothing good. I understand the self-satisfaction that you have as a player. I'm just arguing for the negativity that goes on, like beyond it, just for the actual occurrence of having it is also bad.
Well, I think the positivity outweighs the negativity in these achievements. Again,
Okay.
I'm not saying like I need achievements right now. I'm just saying it would be cool.
Hey, and at the end of the day, my stance has never changed. If they did it, I'd turn it off and keep doing
Yeah,
it.
I'm not against it. Like,
Yeah, I'm not
if
against it
you-
either.
I'm always for options. If people like it, sure.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I mean, in Smash, they make you earn all the characters. It's an achievement.
I mean, and then yeah.
I mean, that's part of the game. That's part of the achievement. But
Did you unlock all the characters, Donnie?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I hated that I had to do it. If you don't remember, like, yeah, I hated that I
I
had to do
remember
it.
you
I thought it was
saying that.
awful. Me and Jack sat down. I was furious, but yeah, no. Yeah, we did. We have them all.
Cool.
And when I lost my save, thank heavens I could back that game in the cloud because we booted up Smash, and all of them were grayed out, and I was like, nope, not doing that again.
I remember that.
But we could pull it
Yeah.
from the cloud, so we were back up and running in a few short minutes. But yeah, I mean, yeah,
That's
it's an
good.
either or situation. I don't really care, but I think there's a case being made not to. So I like to try and make it. I definitely understand that most people really, really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Kyle wants to know, you have every Pokemon game in existence, including spin-offs to select from. Pick one to play for the rest of your life. Can't play the rest.
That's tough.
Goodness.
That's a tough question.
I have to think about this. Hold on. I'm trying to think all the spin-offs too. And wait, what do you mean like spin-offs?
It's hard. Anything with Pokemon in the title.
Oh crap. Okay.
Pokemon Gold?
Heart Gold then.
It's got to be.
I would say either that. Yeah, probably either that. I don't know. I also kind of like the newer ones because they have like the online and more Pokemon. I put more hours into X than anything else.
I don't think I could play any Pokemon game.
It would be
definitely.
better Heart Gold.
I would do Alpha Ruby or Omega Sapphire because I love third gen so much. That's my favorite.
Omega Ruby.
Yeah. And Emerald was my favorite Pokemon game, but like the remakes are pretty solid. And
they are. I do like those as well. And those they added the all the new Pokemon that were in Generation 6. So yeah, maybe I would pick that instead.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I don't think I could play a Pokemon indefinitely. That would be real hard.
I'm right there with you. I think I'm kind of tired of Pokemon.
Yeah. I was
I'm a Pokemon fan.
I'm excited for Snap.
Dude, Sword and Shield, and I was just like, oh, this is over already.
Thank goodness.
But yeah, and I thought Snap, but like Snap, you've eaten 5 hours. Like you're gonna keep playing it forever. Like even I, a devout lover of Pokemon Snap, even I realize there's a limit.
Snap the original every couple years and replay it. It's a very short game. I hope that they add a lot of content in this one that will make it replayable. Because then that could potentially be an answer like for this question, because if they add like a lot of online capability and making it so that like you can replay it and get like leaderboards and high scores and maybe it's a little bit different every time you play it, I would really like that.
I was thinking Pokemon Go. I just don't like playing Pokemon Go.
No, don't do it.
But if you're playing if you're playing indefinitely, right, like that would be the one that would probably make the most sense. But it's just like I can't do that over and over again. I'd rather replay Gold over and over again.
That's pretty much. The runner-up for me for a spin-off would be Pokemon Conquest. That was a fantastic spin-off in a tactical RPG. So my bread and butter. So, yeah. Anyway.
Brendan wants to know, have you ever sold a game for more than what you bought?
Did we do that one?
Yeah, we already did that.
Did we say that last week? Okay,
I asked that. Or no, wait. Winter Gamer asked that, I think.
Yeah, you asked buying and he asked selling.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. So we answered that one. Did we answer the other one that was here?
Delvin?
Yeah, did we answer that one last time?
Nope.
Okay.
I think so.
He wants to know if Nintendo could get the rights to any entertainment franchise, movies, books, or even games to make a Switch exclusive game, what license would you want them to get and what kind of game would you want it to be? So
we've had this question before and I got to make some qualifiers on it because there's a lot of different ways you can take this question. I normally take it by like trying to think of somebody that I think will either fit a need or a genre that Nintendo lacks or is a good fit with like Nintendo. But you could also just be like anything, and then that's basically a case for you to say like your favorite game. You know, like The Last of Us. But like it makes zero sense for the company and like it makes zero sense. So how would you guys take this question?
What do you mean? How would we take it?
Like try to serve an
trying
audience?
To find something that fits Nintendo,
Yes.
or are you just whatever you want, just throw it in there?
I mean, I think you would have to be within the, something that would fit Nintendo.
Okay.
I think, right? I don't know.
Yeah, this is a hard question because it's very open-ended.
It is.
Like,
you see, the point I'm trying to make is that like if you just leave it open to whatever, then it's literally the question could be rewritten just like take your favorite non-Nintendo thing and make it a Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You know, especially it's like books. Like movies like Die Hard on Nintendo. It's like what?
Well, that's his question. What would you
do? Of course. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking
Make
you.
it Switch exclusive.
What would you like? Would you take it that way? Would you literally take your favorite thing, or would you try to be more selective on behalf of Nintendo?
I mean, I'm trying to think of what would work as a Nintendo game.
There you go. Okay, so I always kind of go in there as well. You know, so I'm never going to be like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
because like that makes zero sense for Nintendo.
Yeah.
This is a hard one.
I'm like trying to think of movies or books. My mind's not really going in that direction. I keep thinking of how well Sly Cooper would be as a Nintendo franchise.
Yeah.
I think they could do a lot of really awesome things with Sly Cooper. It feels like it belongs on a Nintendo console.
You could try grab any of the 3D platformers and other consoles.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to think of something a little bit more creative, but that's where my mind's going.
So I'm thinking of widening the audience of Nintendo. And I'm thinking, I don't want to steal anything from Xbox and PlayStation. That's the problem with this question. But if I say I'm a diehard Switch fan and I would love this to like widen the Switch audience, I think a first-person shooter and I think online open, I think of you can make it work. I think you can put Destiny in there.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it.
And I think, of course stealing it from PC and Xbox and PS4 and all of its audience for the past, I don't know, was 6 years now. But I think it would really make the Switch worthwhile to attain that audience if it works on the Switch. And I think it would be great on handheld as well.
I always try to go that same route, like try to think of something that could fit something they don't have or it's different and could, open up to potential new customers. I think my normal answer was Journey. I used to always think Journey was like a perfect Nintendo game. I always thought Ori is a perfect Nintendo game. So those always kind of fit the the bill, I guess. To step out of the box a little bit, I'm going to say Disney. And I know that's cheating.
That's another thing I was trying, yeah.
But I think it's crazy that we have like Kingdom Hearts with Final Fantasy characters and stuff in there.
I couldn't believe that.
when it's not like Mario and Luigi, and I feel like it would make more sense.
That franchise is still unbelievable to me.
Oh, of course, and it's not just necessarily Kingdom Hearts, but it's just when you think Disney video games, that's what you think of. But like, I could absolutely see a Disney Nintendo partnership where Nintendo has exclusive rights to Disney like cartoon characters in game. And, Disney has exclusive rights to making Mario franchise movies and cartoons.
Mutual relationship.
Yeah, I could totally see that, like, as an existence. Like, if that happened tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be like, that makes no sense, because it makes a lot of sense. They're very similar built companies off of, like, their kid-friendly marketing stable of IP. So
the thing I was going to say, the thing about both of them are they both are very protective over their IPs. Sure. So it would have to be very, very mutual.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just
the idea. I think I could see it where Nintendo has, full rights to make a Mickey platforming game and a Mickey kart racer and, that type of stuff. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or put Mickey in all the rest of the Nintendo games. Yeah, Smash.
Instead of Mario Kart, instead of Mario and Luigi Dream Team, you've got Mickey and Mario stuff, and you can go a long way with it. So,
yeah.
Gamstead wants to know, when do you think we'll hear about Bayonetta 3, and how do you feel about her being a Nintendo property now for all intents and purposes?
Ooh,
when's the last time we heard Bayonetta 3?
I think the original It Exists.
The last time we saw it, they did update.
Did
somebody they said it was after the Wonderful 101 stuff, when they opened up their site for their 4 other projects and they talked about independence and all that. Somebody asked them and they were like, yeah, we're still making it, don't worry about it, it's still being worked on. I also know there was some rumors there. I think what prompted the question, I think there was some rumors that they kind of repurposed it or maybe restarted it, as they talked about how they were kind of building their own engine and like changing the way they philosophically make games. They mentioned something like that with Wonderful 101. They were like, we're changing how we build games, not just the games we make.
Marketing speak.
It's never like great, like you don't necessarily want to hear that. You're like, oh no.
Okay, so give me a trailer.
Right. Because that's the question, is like, well, is it still Bayonetta? Is it different? Does it look different? Is it the same thing we know and love? Or is, like, are they going to be a little more risky with it? The question, I got 2 questions I want to pose back to you, but before I do that, I want to ask this question. How do you feel about it being a Nintendo property now? So yesterday on Xbox, on the Xbox Empire that released today, me and Kevin had a really nice 30-minute chat about what a good versus bad exclusive is.
Yes.
And we talked about the different scenarios that game publishers get exclusivity. And one of those scenarios was when a company pays for the rights to have something. Like, and by all intents and purposes, by everything that I've ever read, Nintendo saved Bayonetta. They weren't going to make any more. It wasn't making any money. Platinum was taking on license work and stuff like that. Like, Nintendo saved that franchise from just going away. And in return for that helping hand, they have exclusive rights to it. And I believe it's co-owned, like Wonderful 101. They co-own it with Platinum. It's a so they could release Bayonetta 2 on PlayStation with Nintendo's permission, which probably not going to happen, because why would you revive a franchise? I think they specifically did it. I mean, I don't even think they absolutely. I think it's even been said they specifically ventured out and did this deal because they needed a game to prove to gamers that they make serious adult man games. You know, like during the Wii U, they got a lot of crap about being, you know, kid games, kid-friendly games. You got this Play School gamepad, you know, they got Mario, and it's like, well, when are you going to make...
I think in the Wii and Wii U era.
Exactly. So they reached out and they secured this exclusive. That's why it's in Smash, and that's why they opened up and made her thing. So I think it's great. I'm totally fine with that exclusivity. I have zero problems with anybody making that exclusive. Anybody could have done it. It was open, fair game for anybody, and it's not like I don't think they're robbing anybody from anything, because it wasn't going to be a thing without them. So on that side, I'm totally fine with it. The question I wanted to ask you guys, based off the news that we have with Pikmin being probably further out than I think all three of us were anticipating, do we have another Direct this year?
No, we're not having a Direct
You
this
feel
year.
convicted on that. Like, she's like, absolutely not.
There's not going to be a Direct this year. Not a okay, like maybe another partner Direct.
What is partner Direct is?
With the third parties.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, I feel like there's a bet to be made here. I bet you that there will be a Nintendo Direct before January 1st, 2021.
I think the only chance we have is December. I don't think we could see one before then.
You really think that Direct can't be before October 30th?
Somebody give me terms. Chat, give us terms. Somebody give us terms. I feel confident on this one. I feel good on this one. You have great conviction, and I am impressed by it. She's like, absolutely not.
Say December, but I do want to say not before. Yeah, I don't think.
No, I said the terms of the bet. January 1st.
Well, I agree
There'll
with
be
that.
no Direct.
Well, okay. Well, what's your bet, Rebecca?
I don't
what's
know.
the date?
He's the one that's making the bet. I'm not making the bet.
What about December 1st, 2020?
I'll make that bet.
Okay.
Okay,
Donnie.
take the belt. I see the bet has bothered you. You really don't think there'll be a Direct at all? A traditional Nintendo shows you a handful of games, including first-party Direct.
No, I don't.
Wow. Why?
Why would there be?
Because they've always done it.
So no, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it. Come on, Nintendo. That you know that they're not about that.
I think.
Why would they not have put things like Pikmin? I think it's clear that they're changing things up right now, or else they would have put all these third parties, everything that was in that third party Direct. They would have put Pikmin 4 in it. They would have put Cadence of Hyrule. They would have put all of these things that were coming out in the rest of the year if they were planning to do it. If they weren't planning on having a Direct, there's no way in heck that they would have just announced Pikmin out of the blue, because that's a Direct title.
Pikmin 3,
And that's coming out in
port
October.
of a game. It's like 5 years old.
A Direct that's coming out this year and early next year. What else are they going to put in?
I got
Was
you.
Donkey Kong in a Nintendo Direct?
I'm going to entertain
I
your
don't remember.
Mario 3D World that they're going to announce at the end of August, or whatever, the beginning of September, for November or December or whatever is coming out.
Sure.
And then we'll probably get a Direct at the end of the year or the beginning of next year.
I'm not saying you're wrong. You've got definitely good points. I think if all things were considered equal, we would have had a Direct at E3, but the world changed. But people are starting to learn to work within, this new normal. And I don't think they can just go quiet until next year. I think they have to make some announcements. Now, good point. They can just tweet stuff and it'll get tons of run. And they can do streams for Bakugan, and they can have little partner directs. Like, they can still make noise. It's not a marketing strategy per se. I just think that in the next, 6 months, I think there will be a direct. I think they will go out of their way to try and make a direct, and I think what they will do is they'll probably announce something in the fall, detail something we already know, and they will announce one spring game to look forward to. Like they did with Animal Crossing, right?
Do they have enough to pack into a direct, though? A full, like, not mini, not third party?
Well, what do you mean full direct? Like a first party? This is a
Yeah.
Nintendo Direct.
A
No
Nintendo Direct with
subtitles.
first and third party games with indies, but a handful of announcements that a real direct, I guess, is the
Yeah.
right way of putting it. I
Yeah.
know what she's saying.
Yeah. I think there could be a possibility.
It's a good question. I mean, it's a good
Yeah.
debate. I think there will
Yeah.
be one. I think there will be one. They're going to do
hope
one.
They're gonna have to do one.
All
Even if
this
it's just
stuff
for
that
the
they're
Mario
saying
stuff.
Changing the way, but they don't need, that's not a, like, if it's just the Mario stuff,
Right.
there can't be a direct with one game.
But they also have to announce
And that's
games.
that's a Mario direct. That's not a direct.
They do
Well, they're
have
not
to
gonna
announce
say
games
Mario
for next
Direct
year.
though.
They could. They could say that.
Mario
They
Direct.
could say this is a Mario.
Okay, and then everyone's gonna be like, "We know what it is."
Of course.
Like, right-
But they
They
totally
would-
can do
And
that.
then they could throw, then
Yeah.
we're getting, like, here's your bundle and all the other little
Yep.
bells and whistles with it, and that would be a Mario Direct. I'm
Pokemon
not saying
DLC,
that won't happen.
sports story, throw in a couple more things, and you're off to the races.
Why would they just drop Pikmin 4 out of the blue
Because
and
it's
not
Pikmin-
throw it in there to pad it?
It's Pikmin 3, and
3.
it's a port. It's Pikmin 3, and it's a port. It's a Wii U port.
They've announced ports and directs before.
They have.
Oh, yeah, of
Typically
course.
Mario games,
Yeah.
right? I'm not trying to like hate on Pikmin 3. I don't think Pikmin 3 is Mario, I don't think
can't
they're the same thing.
A bet in good conscience with Nintendo in chat saying there's a direct coming before December 1st.
Ooh, so he agrees with me.
I think so too.
I do. And I think they'll have one before.
I would be pleasantly surprised.
At the very least, they have to announce a spring game. I understand I've given them a lot of rope for like this fall and everything, and a lot of that is off the devout faith that I've had and the rumors and the things that we've heard. I believe them to be true. I think it's all coming true, and I think they will come true. But they will have to announce games at some point. They have to show something. You can't go into the holiday season not knowing anything coming for the next year at all. They will have to show something because they want to sell Switches on Black Friday.
They can do that without a direct.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. I know they can. Are they going to is the point. And I don't think so. I think they will announce a spring game. And I also guess do the Game Awards happen?
Game
Yeah.
Awards is in December.
Is it still happening?
I don't know
I don't
about
see
that.
why not.
If it's still
I think
happening,
it's all
they'll announce a
virtual,
game there
so.
too. And they
Yes.
also have Bravely Default to show.
Yes. Well, I need a release date, man.
See, like they've
come
got
on.
games. I know it's not the games people want to hear, but they have games. They've got No More Heroes. They've got Bravely
I'm not
Default.
doubting that.
They've got these Mario games. They've got a slew of indie games that we're waiting on. They have dates to announce.
Not doubting it.
It's good. I like the conversation. I like arguing with Rebecca.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's fun.
Yeah.
But answer the question. What do you guys think about Bayonetta 3? To take the easy route, I'll say Game Awards. I think we hear from Bayonetta 3 at the Game Awards. I don't no reason why, just because.
No, I don't think we're gonna hear it till next year.
I think that's probably a better bet.
I think early next year, like February or March or something.
I think it's a
like
next
that.
fall game at this point.
Yep, I think so too.
Yeah.
With Metroid Prime 4.
No. Not
No.
even
No?
close. Not even
Really?
close. Dude,
No,
Metroid Prime.
Next
Bayonetta
year-
will come out before Metroid Prime 4 easily.
Breath of the Wild will
Really?
come out before Metroid Prime.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That game is long lost.
It's a ways away.
If Metroid Prime 4 came out before 2022, like the end of 2022, I would be shocked.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I didn't realize it was gonna take so long.
Dude, they've like rebooted the game like
started
4
over.
times. Like they
Well,
announced it, and then a year later they're like, "Sorry, whoops, it's going to Retro." And Retro just started hiring people like this year.
Okay.
Like they really just started.
And then
Okay, okay.
with COVID and stuff, I'm sure it's even more behind.
Yeah,
I
you
guess
know,
I just haven't been paying attention to the
they're not
timeline on
cranking
that game.
out overtime right now.
And with that
for
kind of
Metroid
game,
Prime
I
4.
feel like they know that their audience is okay with a slower development time because Metroid fans are okay with waiting. They don't need to crank out this, okay, let's get a title out because we need to
Well,
sell.
if history proves anything, it's not going to sell anyway. So
No, it won't. So they're probably going to take their time on it and make it good.
there's no point in diving and dumping lots and lots of resources into it. You got to
Maybe not. but
get in
I
and
don't
out
know.
as cheaply as
I
possible.
think it's more of a, it's their passion project kind
I
of
agree
thing.
with you.
I'm looking more forward to Metroid Prime Trilogy remake.
It's another
that-
port that could come at any moment.
Man.
Another in the direct.
Look,
Talking about Metroid Prime Trilogy for the
I
past 3 years.
pretty let down with this last little showcase that we have come and gone. Basically, we're almost out of summer, and I still don't have a date for Sports Story, and it's bothering me. Okay,
Shin
like,
Megami Tensei.
I need what? What? Absolutely not. Are you crazy? Sports
And did
Story is at the top of my most wanted games list this year, and I was sure that we were going to be playing it in this summer because, they're not rebuilding anything. They're working off stuff they already have, and it's been a while. I was for sure thought we were going to see it. I thought it was going to be out that day or like that week, and it's just gone again. And there's how many indie games, Rebecca? Like I know the Red Lantern is one we're tracking, but there's
man,
like
yes.
almost
There's a
every
slew of them.
yeah, almost every game from like that last Nindy Direct, like the Nindy World Showcase, and then like the one before.
That was 2. The Red Lantern was from 2
That's
or
what I'm
3
saying.
Yeah.
Like, the
directs
last
ago.
2, like 75% of those games haven't come out.
Yes.
Like they're all on the webpage. If you go, like they're all
And
lazy.
Night Market one.
Yeah, they're all limited or labeled coming soon, but they're just indefinitely
In a hat.
out
Yep.
there. So I think they have dates. But I think your
Or
point
they
is,
think they have dates.
I think they've got dates. The point, but it is a really good point that just because they have dates doesn't mean they have to. They literally can just tweet. They can just tweet and drop a YouTube commercial, and that does all the marketing that they need to. But I do think that they know they have an expectation from the fans to have a direct, and I think they'll give us one. I think it'll just be one, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
What if they announce another partner direct?
I think that can and will happen.
It could be good, though. Not like the last one. Like, they could be good.
Okay,
Could have No More Heroes 3 and Sports Story.
there's a news piece. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is set to release in Q1 of next year, which is kind of iffy because Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne Remastered is like really close. Like,
That
why
felt
would
like
you
a
put
really
the-
weird, like,
Yeah,
news headline. I was like, when I read it, I was like, that's not true. Like, I just read it. I was like, there's no way they're going to release both of those games on top of each other like that.
yeah, me neither. So
But, yeah, the port's going to
see.
come, and you're going to wait a while, and then you get Shin Megami Tensei 5.
yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm
One
excited.
more question that's relevant. Kaiji wants to know how much you want to bet Nintendo is just cracking peanuts and sipping beer saying Animal Crossing is pushing units. We'll never announce another game ever again.
I think that's spot on. Look at them. There's 500%
Perfect.
net revenue. Like, they are
bet-
rolling in it right now.
I bet they saw this like, all right, guys, we got a pandemic, so why don't you guys take a vacation for like 2 weeks or like a
Grouchy
month?
asked me
2 months.
on Twitter, I think this week, he said something along the lines of, or no, it wasn't. It was, I saw one of the more famous Twitter folks that I usually retweet, like Nibel or Daniel Mott or one of those folks. I don't remember which one, but one of them was like, I wonder if this year is supposed to be a lighter Nintendo release year before COVID started. And I retweeted and I was like, I've been saying this for a year. It's like I've been saying this since last year that I was expecting this, and I thought COVID made it worse. And
Don't you ever want to know what would have been at Nintendo's E3 this year?
I wanted to see like that, what they've done for like Link's Awakening and like their big stages and their big spaces. I would have loved to have seen what that was for Super Mario like 35th anniversary edition. Like that Mario world would have excited me. But Grouchy responded to me and he was like, don't they have to start announcing stuff for us at some point? And it's like, well, of course they do. They do. I was like, but you got to realize that it's different. That the answer to that changes based on where you are in the life cycle and how well or not you're doing at that point. Right at the early part of the life cycle, you need to announce as much as possible because you need people to believe in you to buy their console. Once you've sold most of it, you don't have to announce anything.
You can crack peanuts and sip beer.
Like you've already got it, especially if you're successful. Like the Wii U was completely unsuccessful and they didn't announce anything. But especially when you're successful, there's almost no pressure at all to release anything. The only people that get angry about it are folks like us that are just jumping from game to game to game to game. But, like there's really no incentive for them to do it right now. Their workers aren't working. The production lines have been slowed. Like, their pipeline is having issues. And they're making bank. They can't sell consoles. That's the problem. Like, they don't have consoles to sell.
I know someone who's been trying to get one and can't.
Yeah, so why announce a game if you can't sell the consoles to go with it? Like, you can't get consoles on shelves yet. So wait a bit. You get consoles back and then start announcing some stuff.
Yeah.
I've been noticing a lot more Switches have been available. So, I mean, if you need an alert, just let me know, because Wario 64 and Nintendo too always pushes the availability down.
Yeah, this past week they've come in and out quite common. Yeah, they've been pretty good. But I guess that'll do it for us this week here in the Nintendo Shack. I enjoyed arguing with you, Rebecca, quite a bit.
I
think
love
it's fun. I can't wait for
our...
We haven't had a Direct as a team together.
That's true.
I can't wait for that day to happen.
I'm going to get excited by stuff, and then you guys get excited about the other stuff.
Yeah. Look, it doesn't even matter if they're real games. Like Devolver said it, right? It could be fake games. All that matters is that they announce them. Just announce the games.
Pretty much.
I would love for Nintendo to have a fake Direct. They announce like Mother 3.
Oh, just play along with it.
And F-Zero.
Could you imagine?
Oh, it would be gold.
I mean, so like I am totally like that kind of person. If I was at Nintendo, I would totally hire Devolver and be like, I need you to make me a Direct. It's completely false.
Eat the hype.
Like, let's just give them what they want. Let them have fun with it. Because, it would go through the cycle, right, where people would get angry at first, and once they realized that they would appreciate it and they would laugh about it. Like the little claymation Nintendo Direct when they were asking Reggie where Mother 3 was, right? So those types of things would be endearing.
They got to do more stuff like the puppets.
I love the puppets.
I love the puppets, too.
I think that makes us outliers. I remember the last time I talked about the puppets, I remember somebody was telling me, I think it was Caroline, she didn't like the puppets.
What?
And I think
oh my God, I'm going to have to talk to her.
Maybe Kevin or Jason did too. I think somebody else, because I remember in the Discord, they were like, no, God, keep those puppets away. I was like, I think they were awesome.
That was great. I liked it too.
I wonder how much the Awada puppet would be worth.
I wonder where they are right now.
Yeah.
Probably in a closet somewhere.
John Henson's like basement.
Pretty much.
All right, that's going to do it for this week in the Nintendo Shack chat. You were wonderful tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we will catch you next week, hopefully after we see the latest and greatest Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Please be excited. Good night, Kooplings.
Bye-bye.